Hey geeks, welcome to the Transformer edition of Geek Culture Unboxing. So as you can see, we have the next edition of Imaginarium in studio.
I've been waiting all weekend to open it. It came on Friday.
Anticipation. We've been waiting to do this review for you
opened it
geeks.
without him.
You know, we don't
Put it
open
back
it
in the
in
box.
advance. And for those joining us, that's how we do these reviews on Geek Culture. We wait, we open it right out of the box. No research, nothing looking back. Just like you getting something brand new for the first time, open it, wow, no expectations, right out of the box. So that's how we do these reviews. First, we're going to start off with
I like the grid.
a beautiful 360 of the four-sided color packaging. As we said with the Soundwave, we love the grid work on the box. Ladies, is there anything that stands out to you about the packaging?
The like star texture on there or behind the grid is nice. If it was just a grid, I don't think it would have as much of an effect as it does having this like galaxy sort of
Yeah.
thing on
I don't know if you can zoom in, John, but again, John's very camera work. But the thing is, you can actually see what Jess is talking about. You can see,
Yeah,
see like the galaxy. You know,
It's literally like
yeah.
you can see the nebulas and stuff. It's just all one color.
Yeah, it's
nice.
just all red behind the red grid.
And then just like the original G1 packaging on the bottom,
Yeah, what does it have on there? It should have, again, what it has right here, it has Rodimus' history, I guess his information, but it also has his strength and power. He's supposed to be, if not equal to Optimus Prime. And again, it tells you a little bit more about Rodimus Prime, which is also available on the G1 figures, which is great.
a great G1 throwback from Imaginarium, which is one of the many reasons that we enjoy their products and having them in our studio. In a few minutes, you'll get a full 360 of Rodimus. You'll get to see firsthand, and then you get some feedback from each one of the team from here at Geek Culture. So how did you geeks like those 360s? Are you geeks as impressed with Rodimus as we are?
I think I'm really impressed. This is probably, I mean, I'm not like a big follower of like the Transformers figures, but this is the nicest one I've ever seen.
Come on, give the fans the details like you were telling us earlier.
Okay, well,
Again, you being an artist, comment on the
so I took a really close look at the paint, and it's really cool because usually with enamel painting you can tell when someone has put a color over another color. For example, silver is very notorious for that, silver and gold. If you put that over a bright color like red, a lot of times the red will show through just a little bit. I got none of that on this. And I'm pretty positive, just based on a couple things, that is how it was painted, that it was the red enamel first, and then they did all the silver details over the top of that. What's really cool is that you can see on like any of the little heat vents that there's just a tiny bit of like, that heat singe, that little black and silver burn on the end, which is really cool. All the small details. My favorite, on the hands, you can see each and every single little knuckle and each and every bolt and screw on the knuckles, and they're like this big. Really impressed.
So, when we opened up the Prime 1 G1 Optimus, we were calling it the candy paint. What is that? What's the proper term for that reflective style paint?
This is a car, like model car enamel.
Okay.
That's it. It looks exactly like that, and that's what I use on a lot of stuff. It's what gives it that really nice, like slightly metallic sheen, but it's not glittery. And it's just a beautiful color. This red is almost exactly like what I used on my Mandalorian. So.
And for those who are unaware, Jessie here is our resident artist and sculptor, so she does a lot of stuff with art. So when you hear her describe things, it's going to sound very different from us collectors and fans of these items. So the paint, anything else, anything about the base, the Lazy Susan?
The airbrushing is really nice. There's a lot of that on the base especially. I mean, we were talking about how the Lazy Susan, it's not very free moving. But also that's probably a good thing because of how this thing is put together, right? If it just went wee and spun around, it would just fall apart, you know?
Yeah.
So, because this is what, how many, like 12 pieces?
Oh, I didn't count. Anybody?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
shoot.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Close to 15.
11, 12, yeah,
15 to 20 pieces.
something like
And
that.
it was fairly easy to put together. It's just like, okay, it's just finding the parts. And when you have a piece like this, it was just finding, okay, what's okay, this and that.
Well, they're really good
fairly
about
easy.
making the connectors different shapes.
Yes.
Yeah,
But fairly
especially
easy.
with the right versus left.
Yeah.
And the packing this time around. So as you can see in the back, we have the Imaginarium Soundwave. We're waiting for the Ultra Magnets, but this time around, what we really enjoyed about the styrofoam packing is that they had cutout inserts. So the piece was placed in there, and then there was a foam insert on top of it. These things are not moving around. They're not shaking. They're wrapped in paper, wrapped in plastic. There is, a very slim chance that you're going to get an item that is damaged or has paint rub at all. So mad props to Imaginarium for great pack job. Then it comes in the outer box, which we showed you earlier, an inner brown box that says Imaginarium, and then a shipping box from whoever you buy it from. So very well packed. Ever since, I would say, XM hit the scene, packing has just gone up. You've got XM that does great packing, you got First World Figure that does great packing, Imaginarium does great packing, Prime One does great packing. So for you collectors out there, those are the companies you want to look for to ensure that you get an item that is not damaged or paint rubbed or smeared in any way. Now, even as I'm looking at this, I see this little flaw right here. What would you call that, Jess? I mean,
that happens when a hair gets on the paint as the paint is drying.
and see, I hang out in the forums, I listen to people chat, I listen to get upset about the little blemishes, and it frustrates me at times because there's just certain things that happen in a warehouse environment where people are painting that you can't get around.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, I'm going to return this for a refund. You know what? It doesn't bother me.
That's minor.
It's minor.
It's minor.
It's when you have a crack or paint chipping or a piece is missing or
That's a big deal,
worse.
yeah.
That's something you turn for. These little paint blemishes, it's no big deal. It really is.
And again, when you saw the 360, we had different poses, and again, you have different arms. You have a different head. Again, if you don't like the Matrix pose, you get tired of it, you can actually change it to where he's holding his blaster.
He also has an extra head.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, we're sorry, folks, that we didn't. We thought the packaging came with the LED batteries.
But the matrix lights up and the head lights up as well.
Yeah, the matrix and both heads do light up. So that's another feature. And again, we apologize for that. We should have bought some batteries, but we
If we knew what batteries we needed.
Yeah, usually they come with it.
Yeah, usually they come with it. But for me, what I like the detail on the tires.
It is nice.
I like the detail on the tires, and I do like the battle. I guess you have
battle damage paint.
battle
the
damage
wear.
paint. Yeah, the wear.
It shows the wear.
Yeah, and remember, he just got into a fight with Galvatron, so I do like that.
Well, see, and we noticed that the first time with Soundwave is he had that battle scar, and I'm like, is this poor paint act or is this supposed to be battle scar? And so we've learned from that. And the paint scheme is very different. Soundwave doesn't have that shiny, metallic kind of finish as Rodimus does, but man, it really pops.
It does.
And the question for you, Diego, is would you want Soundwave to have that shininess, or he's perfect the way he is?
No, he's perfect the way he is.
Perfect the way he is?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
this
with the
is
characters
solid.
it fits.
Yeah,
Because it's a cassette player, which doesn't really have that. It's more of the matte finish versus a hot rod. It's supposed to have that
And-
sheen.
Yeah. And again, this is the closest that you're gonna get to G1. The only part that's not G1 is the feet. That's the only part. But everything else is spot on. Yeah, it's because again he had different feet. But
Rachel, what do you love about it?
I love the color, just the bright red, the bright orange, the bright yellow. You get that hot rod feel from it, and you get the G1 feel without it looking too cartoony.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later after we get done going over the whole sculpture. Diego, talk to me about this base compared to Prime 1's 3 to 6 inch bases.
What I like the size, but again, it wasn't overwhelming. It's not like when you see these bases, like, you know, where I have nowhere to store it. Here it's a perfect size.
It's just enough.
It's just enough. Yeah, it may be big, but it's not overwhelmingly big as we do as Prime 1.
It's simple, simplistic, and the plus is that Imaginarium is working towards giving collectors a actual Lazy Susan as part of the. I think that's amazing.
It's really cool.
The first collectible company that I saw do that was McFarlane. We had the Assassin's Creed, and he actually turned in his base, and that was really cool to see Imaginarium going forward with that. I'd like to encourage that. I'd like to say, please keep it up, because that would be cool. I would like almost all my Transformer statues to rotate so we don't have to actually use a Lazy Susan.
I'm actually waiting for one that comes with a remote. Hey, check this out.
Automated.
And with like little lights, the little lights that pop up.
Yeah.
Oh, museum style lighting?
Yeah, just like right here.
That'd be pretty cool.
The Joker that it had those spotlights on the base.
Yeah, the Prime 1 Joker, the one half scale. He had lights. So there's something to consider, just having lights that stand out, and then you can make them look Cybertronian-ish, like they're actually part of the Cybertron.
And then, like, hey, that's kind of, so when people do come over, hey, that's kind of cool. Hey, check this out. And all it needs to do is rotate one time.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to rotate.
It doesn't have to keep going, just once and stop.
Yeah. But again, the paint work is phenomenal. Again, I'm not a fan of orange, only because we're at work. But the thing is, the orange just pops from it.
It's such a nice orange.
Yeah. It's a mean orange. I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a school. Not UT, but. Yeah.
I would. Yeah. It's just a very nice flame orange, and with everything, with the reds and the orange and the yellows, it's just beautiful. And I imagine if we had the batteries to light it up, I mean, you geeks at home would be like, oh, where do I get that at? And he got this at bigbadtoystore.com, so make sure you guys check there. Check Imaginarium, check secretcompassonline.com. Those are the sources that you can get this direct. And I believe the price actually includes shipping, right?
It includes shipping.
And that was
no. Actually, the price comes out to $1,199, and all you do is pay $400 in shipping. $4.
I was like, whoa!
All you do is pay $4 in shipping.
So it's a little over $1,200 for this beautiful piece. Beautiful piece. So we'll take a second. We'll sit back and we'll actually talk. You guys were talking about the difference in G1. So we mentioned it before. Pop Culture Shop is doing a genuine style G1 Transformers, and they're doing it in a smaller scale. So is Imaginarium, but theirs is going to be more of a hyper-realistic like this.
The legacy.
Compared to PCS's, which is going to be Filmation style. Then we have XM Studios doing their interpretation of a G1 style Transformer. We have Prime 1 still doing G1 style Transformer and Bay Transformer. And then, am I missing anyone? Those are the four. PCS, Imaginarium, Prime 1, and XM. So those are your four choices for Transformer collectibles out there. Now, we've yet to get the PCS in hand. We have Prime 1, we haven't gotten the XM. But could you, from what you've seen, you like the PCS Optimus Prime. Could you display that Optimus Prime in your collection with the Prime 1, Sideshow, XM?
Again, I don't know. I have to actually look at. I'm more of a tangible person.
Yeah.
Like when I see it, that's when I fall in love with it. But I don't know yet. I mean, because the thing is, what they did show on, they do have it for sale on Big Bad Toy Store. And when I did see it, all they showed was an image of it. They didn't. It wasn't actually tangible. To where on Big Bad Toy Store, when you take a look at this, they actually show you
the 360.
The 360. They actually show you like, oh wow, it comes with that. So that's what made me buy it. I was real hesitant only because of the character. I wasn't too much of a Rodimus fan, but I was a Hot Rod fan. But then when I actually saw the pictures, I was like, oh wow, that actually comes with all that.
And so, now that it's in hand?
Yeah, now it's in hand. You're just like, wow. And again, I just like to know what I have.
But I'm excited for the PCS Transformers, especially because they're in the scale of the Masterpiece, and while I like my Masterpiece collection, I like the paint scheme on the PCS version, so that may very well replace my Masterpiece version. The only thing I really hold on to with the Masterpiece is that they're partly die cast. If they were all metal, I wouldn't get rid of them. That's actually what I want. I want a durable collectible that will last, you know, till my kids are 40, and they'll be like, you know, this is Dad's old Transformer statue. I'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
And you know, they can actually sell it for something worthwhile. But you know, with everything coming out, I hope that we're able to have a piece from each one of the companies that we can show to you fans, and you guys can see the difference. And again, the thing is that PCS is doing Filmation, Imaginarium is doing hyper-realistic, XM is doing their own interpretation of G1, and then Prime One is doing their version of G1, and they're very different. The one that's really knocking it out of the park, honestly, is the hyper-realistic Imaginarium. Yep. The paint, the sculpt, the packaging, the offerings, the extras. I mean, it's amazing.
And again, you know, for me, it's more my childhood. You know what? I've been wanting G1 figures.
Yeah.
You know, G1, and they're the closest one that they have come to.
Yep.
You know, granted, it's not the full G1. Again, I'm referring to the feet. But the thing is that from here up is G1.
The 90% of the statue. Like, you know what? I'm not worried about.
And even with the packaging, they give you that throwback to the old figures.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. I mean, I wait to open the boxes just for the packaging, because you feel like you're back in 1980s. You're like, oh my God, the grid box, the power scheme, the colors.
Exactly, yeah.
And see, as much as I would like to be with you collecting the bigger line, I actually think I'm going to collect Imaginarium's Legacy line, because I want Optimus Prime and Megatron and Jazz and Prowl and Ironhide, but what I want is the big Devastator. So I want that whole scene where the little bots are fighting the big Devastator. That's what I'm actually looking forward to. And so people on the forums are actually talking about that with PCS. They're like, hey, are you guys going to do Devastator? Are you guys going to do anything else? So there's a huge opportunity for fans to relive the 80s in the G1 Transformers again, and then you know we'll see what some of these companies come up with the new Transformer movies coming out.
Yeah.
So is there anything else the ladies like to add?
The one last thing that I would like to add is that their choice in color is just so good, because they could have gone chrome with the metal. And I'm really, really glad that they didn't.
On the pipes, you're glad that they didn't?
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't. I really like the authentic look of the aluminum paint versus the chrome paint. I honestly like when I see figures like this guy right here, where he's got, like aluminum, and then like that bright, shiny chrome, you know, it just looks fake to me. It looks like a toy versus a figure.
I completely agree with you. There was a toy, and I actually own it. It's the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Devastator by Hasbro, and that came out, and the paint scheme on it's nice. It's got chrome purple parts partially on the figure. They didn't chrome all the purple parts. They just chrome certain parts, and it just looks bad. I like it because it's in scale, and it's the design that I like, but that's why I'm waiting for Imaginarium. When Imaginarium comes out, that's going out the door, and Imaginarium is going to be the centerpiece. I upgrade, not downgrade. All right, geeks, for this edition of Geek Culture Unboxing, we'll see you next time.